Let's talk a little baseball, though, shall we?
How about baseball stuff? Having a moment.
Is it okay to hate something and love something at the same time?
Absolutely.
Because I absolutely hate that this is the World Series that we're getting, while simultaneously love that this is the World Series that we're getting.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Dude, I hate how much I love Crunchy Cheetos. Because you give me a Costco bag, I might eat the whole
so
thing.
Good. Crunchy Cheetos are
They're
bomb,
the best.
dude.
Anybody saying puff, you're way wrong. I'm sorry you have such bad taste.
The jalapeno crunchy ones on top of it, get a little spice.
Jalapeno.
Oh, so good.
God, put me in heaven.
So
Let's get that for breakfast. I am with you. I know you. One of them is your arch rival in the sport. The other one is one of, if not the most hated franchise in all of sports. You cannot deny the fact that this is the best possible matchup for us as sports fans.
It's great for the sport of baseball.
It is so good for baseball. Yep. It's so good for intrigue. You're either pro-Yankee because of your own tie, a family tie, or you're a big Judge fan.
Or you're a front runner.
Or you're a
front
runner
your entire life.
Or you love Ohtani, or you're a front runner and you're a Dodger fan.
You're swag, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, you're swag. Remember how bad the Dodgers are, according to Jason Swigard. It's a great matchup, and not often in sports, the league gets the matchup they want. If the NFL could have picked a Super Bowl, Niners-Chiefs is good. Niners are a pretty iconic brand. They would sign up for the Cowboys all day.
Yes, they would.
It would have been Cowboys-Chiefs more so than Niners-Chiefs. The NBA, I don't think they wanted Nuggets-Heat. I don't think that was something they were – what was it last year? Dallas and Boston. I don't think these are the matchups they want.
No, you want Lakers and Celtics.
You want Lakers, Celtics all day. LeBron versus Tatum, all that stuff. MLB got their wish, and they didn't really need to fix anything. The Yankees got to play the AL Central the whole way, and the Dodgers have the best roster in the sport, and they've bought their way to another World Series.
Here's the one thing, because the Cowboy analogy is spot on. The one thing that I do at least appreciate about both these teams being in and why it's good for baseball, despite my hatred for both of them, is these teams spend, they try and win, they're actively trying to improve their roster, and they are loaded with household names that baseball fans know. Like, no offense to Corbin Carroll. Corbin Carroll is a great story for the Diamondbacks. He's not a household name for viewers. You know who is? Aaron Judge. You know who is? Shohei Ohtani. You know who is? Juan Soto and Giancarlo Stanton. Like, these are the guys that you want to watch in the biggest moments and in the biggest games. You don't always get that. You're not guaranteed it. And so there's a part of me that, again, despite my hatred of both of these teams and wanting them to simultaneously lose the World Series,
sure,
I also am appreciative of the fact that teams that are trying to actively get better and spending a lot of money to try and win have made the championship, because that's not a guarantee in this sport. The Rangers spent a lot of money and won it all last year. The Diamondbacks don't spend a lot of money. Not that they're poor or they're like the Pirates. They're not that bad, but they're not one of the top 5 spending teams in baseball, and they found their way to a World Series last year. I look at a team like the Mariners, who got over their playoff hump a couple of years ago and then decided to do what? Nothing. All right, we're good enough. We made the playoffs. We can get hot. We got a pitching staff. We'll eventually find our way there. Instead of saying, hey, we came up short in the playoffs. We finally got back. How do we take that next step? I want to go get that next piece. The Yankees have been knocking on the door for a long time. They have been in the playoffs seemingly every year for the last decade and have a ton of ALCS appearances. What did they do this last offseason? We got a great lineup. Why don't we go get Juan Soto? Why don't we trade our top prospects and go get Juan Soto? And now they're going to have to give him $1 billion contract to keep him around. Like, there is a part of me that I'm appreciative of teams that are actively trying to win, that are being rewarded because these teams have spent a lot of money.
I hear you. The only pushback I got on that is these teams get to spend differently in ways that all those other teams don't. The Mariners can be the example here for you. The Mariners are never financially going to be able to be as invested.
Their owner's a billionaire. He can afford it. He chooses not to. He's cheap.
Yeah,
my ownership is they have billionaires. Yeah. They just choose not to.
Yeah, well, let's not use your team. You got 3 of those, okay? You got a nice run there that you may never see again in your life. My point is, all the other teams, you're never going to compare to the spending of these two, man. The Dodgers are spending $1 billion. And I think some of this is, you mentioned Corbin Carroll as an example. The unfortunate thing with what you're saying is you're right, but also that's the network's fault. What games are always on TV?
Yeah.
Yankee games. The NBA does this too. They do not highlight enough of their other star players, and so you're like, oh, I want Tyrese Halliburton in the finals. people like us in this business going, I know who I want LeBron, I want Steph, I want KD, because they're the only ones on TV. Corbin Carroll's not on TV. Stanton, Soto, Judge, they are because they're the Yankees. Dodgers are the same way. The Dodgers certainly have great players. They've got Ohtani, they've got Freeman, they've got Betts, etc. But also they're on TV. So, like, I think it's just a little unfair to throw all the other teams because nobody can spend like these teams can. They also get all the good players and they get all the TV games. So it's like we're conditioned to like want to see these matchups, and it's largely driven by the way the media does this. It's no different in college football or even the NFL.
Yeah, it's very, very similar. Baseball is very similar to college football in that way. Some teams can spend a lot more than others. I would contend, though, like the Mets have the biggest payroll they can spend. The Red Sox have spent over the years. The Cubs can
but
spend.
The Brewers can't do this.
I'm not saying that they can.
They can't get Ohtani.
No, I think we have an epidemic in baseball over the last 5 to 6 years where there's a lot of middle market teams who just choose to be cheap.
Well, they choose to just be okay.
They choose to just be okay being cheap. And no, they cannot. You're not going to be able to sign Shohei Ohtani. But you can be more like the Mariners can spend more money in free agency. They choose not to do that because they want to protect their profits.
Look at the Guardians. Their owner is worth like $1.2 billion more than Steinbrenner is with the Yankees.
Yep.
Like he has more money, yet Steinbrenner spends more money on the Yankees.
Well,
so it shows he might care a little bit more.
Let me ask you this, because
local TV deals are a big part of this too.
That
helps the
help.
Dodgers.
The Yes
100%.
Network and the Dodgers
TV deal is the best in baseball.
They get a ton of money from their TV deals. The other thing I would throw at you on that, because you're not wrong, does Judge want to be a Guardian? Ohtani, we thought he was maybe going to be a Blue Jay because there was a jet taking off. They were never in the running.
I mean, they had Francisco Lindor, and they traded him instead of re-signing him.
I hear you there, and that's a very good thing to throw back at me. My point is you're just not getting the Stantons and the Judges the way that those teams are always going to get them. They're iconic franchise. It means something to wear pinstripes. They haven't won a series since, 2009? But it means something to be a great Yankee. It means something to be a great Dodger now since they started spending. Does it mean something to a lot of players to be a great Guardian?
Why don't you ask Jim Thome about that, huh?
I love Jim Thome.
Why don't you ask Jim Thome and Albert Bell.
Omar Vizquel.
How they feel about that.
It might not mean more, but if you have an owner that can spend more,
guys aren't leaving.
Bet you that makes players more likely to sign there.
Cleveland probably keeps Lindor.
Washington did this with Juan Soto. They had Juan Soto, and they traded him. And then the Padres did it with Juan Soto. That they didn't want to re-sign him either because they thought we can't afford him, so I might as well trade him.
You might have to pay more at those middle market teams, but if you have the money to do it,
but
I
you're
think
paying
in the
more
long
out of your
run,
own pocket. That's the point. Is the TV deals here are the underrated part. The Yankees and Dodgers have an advantage in. All these other teams, they're regional sports networks. They're going belly up.
Yeah, you're not wrong there.
They're not making the money. The Guardians are not getting a massive TV bill. So it's like the Yankees are. Hey, we're the Yankees. I talked to somebody in our building, and it was like selling the Red Sox back east. Hey, you want to be on the Red Sox? Yep. What's the price? Just give us the check. You got it. There's nothing to sell. It's the Red Sox. Like, that's what these teams get. That's why they get the talent. These other teams can pay the Lindors or the whoever's. They're not also getting with it Aaron Judge. He was going to be Arson Judge for a second. He decided to be Aaron Judge.
We had a brief moment.
Oh, we thought Ohtani's dog was Blue Jay. Nope, it's Decoy, because he's staying in L.A., bitch.
Who are we rooting for? It's easy for me. Who are you guys rooting for?
Well, I'm kind of torn here. I don't like the Yankees because of our good friend Mike Lynch. I'm rooting for him to see that. Also, Swag basically jumping off the Dodger train and saying they're not good enough.
He said on the air, and I quote, "They're done," when they were playing the Padres, and then they proceeded to win the next 2 games via shutout and win the NLCS.
Yeah, so
that's fandom.
But I also love Ohtani. I love Ohtani.
Yeah, he's great.
He's my Asian
other than
brother.
the whole cheating thing, other than that.
What do you mean cheating
other
thing?
than gambling on his team.
Is it awkward by anybody
the
else?
whole gambling storyline that started the whole baseball season.
Is it not awkward to watch him be interviewed on Fox and have a different interpreter standing next to him?
Is that guy gambling too? You putting his bets in too?
Is he laying the parlays for you now?
I want to answer Shohei.
It's the Porter brother who's over there.
Yeah, Jonte's his new interpreter.
Is he worth pitching to? In all honesty, is he worth just getting the Bonds treatment? Why do you want to pitch to him at this point?
I don't know. I
He
would
was
not do it.
8-18 15 with runners in scoring position.
That's pretty good, Bob. That's pretty good last time I checked. Right now, the Dodgers are winning the poll question. Who are you rooting for? 61% say Dodgers, 32% say Yankees.
I'm torn, dude. I want Ohtani, but like our
That's easy for
producer
me,
has
yeah.
abandoned his team 90,000 times.
If they both explode, is that like?
No, you got to play against. You got to play a side here, Will. Got to play a
I
side.
don't know, dude. There was an earthquake one
gotta
time.
pick a
Why
side.
could there be another one?
They
Tremors.
finished that series in the
Same
A's won.
seat.
You got to pick a side. Who you rooting for?
Stupid Dodgers.
This is great for baseball.
It's awesome for baseball.
When's game 1?
Friday night.
Friday. It's
Friday night.
Monday.
Let's let them take a week off, though. You know, they need a week off.
Oh, they're gonna have to compete against that USC Rutgers game.
I feel like back in the 30s, they used to play the next day.